My sister's boyfriend is making the entire family uncomfortable. You gotta be doing some crazy shit to be having the entire family uncomfortable. I'm thinking worst case scenario in my head right now. This story was first posted August 16th, 2015. For those of you who have missed it, our stay classy, stay sassy sign is on a timeout. It's being bad and it's not cooperating. So it's on the floor behind me. All right? Okay, so let me start off by saying my older sister has never been very mature, but she's always been fun to be around, even if she hasn't been the best role model. Oh, okay. Say it how you really feel. Last February, she seemed to really be changing for the better. She started working out, seeing a therapist, broke up with her abusive boyfriend, and was all around starting to take better care of herself. We were thrilled. She and I have never been very close because we're polar opposites when it comes to personality. I'm outgoing and outspoken. She is painfully shy and insecure. But we finally began forming an adult relationship, and I was so happy to have the kind of older sister that I could look up to. 2 months later, she meets this guy, Jerry, and things go downhill. Fast. She starts pulling away from the family, claiming she's a black sheep and that we don't understand her like he does. She starts picking fights over the tiniest things, stops working out, stops seeing her therapist, and stops putting any effort into anything but him. One of the things that really set all of this into motion, I think, was that my mom had booked a beach house vacation for everyone and asked for just family. My sister threw a huge fit, screaming and crying, asking why our older sister's husband of 7 years was allowed to go, but not her new boyfriend. My parents tried to be as understanding as possible and handled it the best that they could, but I think she got it into her head that they had left him out on purpose. A husband of 7 years that's like an in-law at that point. Like, that's my son-in-law, that's family. New boyfriend on family vacation? Are we really comparing the two? Keep in mind, my younger sister and I also had boyfriends who weren't allowed to come. Also, my parents had paid for the house and her plane ticket because she had told them she couldn't afford to come otherwise. In the past year, things have only gotten worse. There have been a couple of instances that I would like to highlight specifically. Ma'am, I roll out the red carpet for ya. Here is your moment. Tell us everything. Spill the tea. Leave no details out. I want to know. I want to know who's this creep. What we got going on? I'm so nosy. The first time we met him, we all went out for a trip to the lake. I tried paddleboarding for the first time, but ended up falling and injuring my hand. I started crying and he asked to see it. I showed him my hand, which was already swelling and bleeding, which he took into his and proceeded to smack it pretty forcefully. Then he and my sister started cackling while I began to sob, and my dad took me to the ER. He did not apologize even after finding out it had been severely sprained. So he was sitting there being like, on your sprained hand? While you're crying? I'm concerned to the highest degree. When my mom and my little sister stayed with them overnight, he walked into the guest room without knocking while my mom was changing and wearing just a bra and underwear. She was startled and asked him to leave, but he said it wasn't a big deal because she was basically in a bathing suit. Quote. He then hugged her and left the room. No. Sure, in the sense of material. Sure. A bra is probably the same coverage in material sense as a bathing suit top. Not the same context though. Someone swimming in a bathing suit is not the same as someone in their undergarments changing privately in their bedroom. This is weird. Next point. While my sister, who's 20, went to stay with them, she witnessed him yelling inappropriate things at women jogging while they were driving to the restaurant. But when they returned to my older sister's apartment, Jerry tried to bully my younger sister into smoking some green with him. Another red flag. Next. When my pregnant older sister met them at a Christmas party, he stood over her and wouldn't move until she got up to give him a hug. Weird behavior. Next, at the same party, he drank 6 to 8 beers in 2 hours and then decided they needed to leave to drive back home. He was adamant that only he could drive them home, even with my mom and uncle encouraging my sister to drive instead. My dad wasn't there at the time. Next, he met my best friend of 20 years for 30 minutes and then proceeded to speculate that he was on substances and a junkie because he went to the bathroom twice between us going to lunch and us leaving the restaurant. Well, then you would think I am for sure an addict because I pee probably every 7 minutes. I have the bladder of a kitten.
Okay, thank you for sharing.
Next, when my sister had her baby, he refused to sit to hold the child, insisting he was fine and accusing us of thinking he was too stupid not to drop him. That sounds like an ego thing. Next, I went to visit my sister, and before I left, he insisted on hugging me. I tried to be friendly and I went in for a hug. He then proceeded to squeeze and shake me. I told him over and over that he was making me uncomfortable, but he wouldn't put me down. He took a long, nosy whiff of my hair before I finally shoved myself away from him, and he started laughing at my obvious discomfort. I looked to my sister for support, and instead she told me that his hobby was to go up to strangers and sniff their hair and then challenge them if they acted uncomfortable. Because I'm not going to overlook that. His hobby is to go up to strangers, sniff their hair, and then if it makes them uncomfortable, he likes to challenge them. And that's normal to you. I would be worried for your sister's safety. I have a feeling we might see him in an upcoming documentary. Next, he got into a huge row with my aunt about vaccines and how bad they are and unnecessary. My sister just sat there and twiddled her thumbs. Keep in mind, my dad used to make vaccines. Next, when my sister came to visit us one time this year, he called her in a panic about how his brother was dead from a construction accident. Then it turned into his brother's friend being dead and his brother was going to lose his legs. Then it was his brother's legs that were just broken. Then it was his brother who was totally fine and was being discharged from the hospital. This all occurred in the span of 24 hours that she was with us. There is so much more, but I could go on forever, and I don't really think it's necessary. He lies about everything, then changes his stories. Then, when he's caught, he gets insanely defensive. My sister refuses to talk about it, even when we've tried to approach her about these issues calmly and rationally. We probably all know some pathological liars, but I dated someone who quite literally hated if I did anything without them, whether I was at a family event or with friends. So they would make up like some crazy, insane story like that to get me to be like texting them, to pull my attention from wherever I was at, or to offer like, oh my God, I'll come see you. Is everything okay? And then that situation was never actually true, or it was very exaggerated. So I am picking up on the signs of a psychopath. She instead sees the fault in us, claiming we're elitist and trying to take her away from her one true love. She has made it clear in the last month that if we do not accept him, we do not accept her, and that she is willing to cut all contact with us to preserve her relationship with him. Well, that's exactly what he wants. So at this point, I have lost all respect for my sister. She has been immature, but in the past year, she has turned into a manipulative bully. My parents have tried talking to her. They exchanged emails because she refuses to talk on the phone, but she won't hear a single negative word about him. She keeps attacking my parents like it's their fault. She refuses to respond to their emails now, but continues to send hurtful, malicious emails to them. Is there any way to save this relationship without completely ostracizing her? It's not looking good. If she's an adult, she's gonna make the decisions for herself that she's gonna make, which is really unfortunate. Let's check out some of the top comments. I want to see what people are saying. Someone wrote, "Yeesh, this guy sounds like a huge creep. It seems like you guys all live in the same area and see each other with some frequency, so going no contact may not be feasible. Go for as much reduced contact as possible. When you do have to hang out with them, physically distance yourself, sit across the room, behind a table, etc. So we can't physically coerce you into hugs, slap your hand, smell your hair, etc. Hang out with them with a third party who will act as a buffer. A male buffer would probably be best, maybe your dad. I can't imagine he goes around smelling males. His behavior, especially how he behaves physically, strikes me as being very predatory. He's intentionally testing your comfort zone just to see your reaction. Don't give him the chance to test your comfort zone by physically not being near him. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like there is much you can do for your sister. She seems like she's intentionally rebelling and will do what she wants. What you can do is help yourself by reducing contact with this creeper and physically distancing yourself when you do have to be in contact. OOP wrote back, I think when a person's hobby is to make people uncomfortable, there's probably something wrong. I have definitely reduced contact, physically and emotionally, because I'm really tired of her trying to pick fights or complaining. I'm hoping that if we do see them, my dad will be able to be there to witness his bully-like behavior firsthand. Thank you. I would love to see how dad handles a situation like that when he is purposely making his daughters uncomfortable. Yeah. He'll show him who's boss. Someone else commented, he thinks he can get away with it because he has. If he sniffed a man's hair, he would probably get punched. Violence is my only suggestion if he touches you again. He sounds disgusting. You said it, not me. Don't cancel me, YouTube. I didn't say it. I didn't say anything. We have an update, but let's hydrate first. Let's drink some water. We need some water. We do. Unfortunately, it tastes like nothing. Cheers. I have not been putting lemon, cucumber, or anything in my water. What is going on with me lately? Hello, neighbor. Just the girl who talks to herself all day. Guys, I just made a very bold move. Well, Matt and I did. We painted one of our bathroom walls black, which is crazy to me because I like everything very white and bright. I'm gonna show you a video after. I'll do a Joss Cam moment, insert here, to see the bathroom.
This is crazy to me because I never paint anything black, but we just wanted to do a little like revamp on our Toronto bathroom. So one of the walls is black, not the whole bathroom, just like a little accent wall to the mirror, as you can see me. Hello. Crazy. We have to finish the rest of the bathroom or else I would show you it.
The next update came October 18th, 2015. 2 months later. Well, I wish I could say my sister has come around and everything is better, but in fact, everything is much, much worse. Since my last post 2 months ago, my sister has moved and won't tell us where, is refusing to talk to my parents, specifically my mom, and when we, as sisters, meet up to hang out, she does a complete 180 whenever any of this trouble with Jerry is brought up. My younger sisters and I have decided to cut contact with her because her behavior and anger directed towards our parents is unacceptable. It's also come out recently that she has said some pretty hurtful things about all of us, including that my older sister and her husband are only married because of their son, and that she thinks it would have been better if my parents had stopped having kids after her so they could have paid for her college and all of her needs. Yeah, your sister needs to work on herself as well. Her behavior's not okay. I don't really understand how you can wish people in your family had never been born. I would maybe understand if she was joking or said it once out of anger, but she said it multiple times and seemed serious every time. My oldest sister, who's 31 female, is keeping in contact with her for now. We think she's the only one allowed to see my sister because Jerry thinks that my oldest sister likes him. My oldest sister and her husband can't stand Jerry, but want to act as the bridge in case my sister ever comes to her senses. I don't know how much my sister's behavior is influenced by Jerry, or if this is just her deciding to be cruel, but these past couple of months have been really hard. My parents tried to keep everything civil, but my sister seems to have this anger in her. She has taken it to Facebook, pretty juvenile, I know, with declarations of being happy for the first time in her life and verbally attacking family and friends who post anything that doesn't agree with her opinions wholeheartedly. She's really isolating herself from family and all but 2 of her friends. They approve of Jerry, so they're welcome in her life. Anyway, my mom is done with her behavior. My sister took a trip to Iceland, and when my mom asked her how it was, my sister went off about how she's still upset that the family hates Jerry and she doesn't want to associate with us if we can't accept everything about him. She wouldn't even listen when my mom asked her to explain his behavior. She was completely irrational and said some terrible things to intentionally hurt my mom's feelings. I think my dad is still hoping she'll come around to her senses. He gets really defensive when any of us bring her up. He's always felt a special attachment to my sister because they're the only lefties in the family and my sister has tried so hard to be like him. I understand that, but I think he's hoping for a day that will never come. Personally, I think my sister is comfortable in abusive relationships. She's always been a very manipulative person and she's always wanted to be the black sheep of the family. Now, with Jerry, she has more of an excuse than ever. I think she's too arrogant a person to even realize how wrong she is about Jerry. If it seems like I have a lot of animosity towards my sister, it is because she has been intentionally cruel to my family and our family friends these past couple of months. She said a lot of hurtful things to people who have been so good to her, including to a friend who is dealing with cancer and doesn't have time for her shite. And I think even if we were able to forgive her, we aren't going to forget. Meanwhile, Jerry hasn't tried to contact us and help clear up any misunderstandings. I'm sure he's just enjoying watching my sister implode. Some of the top comments before we go to the final update. I know it's hard to watch your sister make bad choices, but she sounds very stubborn and maybe she will learn something out of it. It's hard, but if she wants to isolate herself to be with this guy, there is nothing you could do. The more you reject him, the more she will want him. Sad, hard truth. OOP wrote back, at this point, I'm not even feeding into it anymore. I blocked her on Facebook and I don't respond when she texts because most of the time she's just trying to start shite. I just can't stand that she's hurting the people who have been so supportive and kind to her, family or no. Someone else commented, do you think Jerry introduced her to any illegal substances? OOP wrote back, she does seem a little manic, but I would hate to jump to that conclusion. That's an interesting perspective or thought, if she's not acting like herself. Oh, wow. So this update came 10 years later, very recently, a few days ago at the time of this recording, August 11th, 2025. We got a decade-long update coming. Holy moly. Well, hey, I never thought I'd find one of my posts on Reddit. Here we are 10 years later. They're married and being horrible people together. My sister pushed out a couple of kids with Jerry, of course, which she uses as leverage to blackmail my parents into playing nice, aka not calling out his BS. Won't leave his kids alone with anyone in the family except the people who he thinks like him. So just my aunt and uncle at this point. My parents tried the whole, you're an a-hole, here's our boundaries talk, but that backfired and he threatened to cut my sister and her kids out of my parents' life and my parents backed down immediately. I was so hoping you weren't going to say they were together. They are married with kids. Not great behavior if you want to stop a bully, but they want to make sure that they can stay in the grandkids' lives, so I'm not pushing it. My dad finally acknowledged that not only is Jerry toxic, but so is my sister, so that's improvement at least. Nothing has really changed regarding my reduced and minimal contact with my sister. Thanks to a lot of support here and through therapy, I was able to figure out it isn't my nor my family's responsibility to fix my sister. It's also not my job to police other people's relationships. If she thinks her relationship is happy and healthy and she's never asked my advice, what can I do? So I'm prioritizing myself and my mental health, and I'm letting her drown in her own BS. The last time I ever agreed to talk to my sister one-on-one, which wasn't really one-on-one because Jerry was clearly there listening in, she kept looking off screen and mouthing stuff like we weren't doing a video call. She tried to take ownership of my childhood SA. Like it didn't happen to me, it actually happened to her. I just kind of nodded and listened, all while internally screaming. I can't imagine being so delusional, but when we ended the call, I was more sad than anything. Why would she need to take ownership of something so traumatic and awful? I still don't understand it. Here's what I ended up doing overall. Number one, when he makes disparaging comments about my sister or family in front of me, he likes to comment on her intelligence, her weight, her parenting loudly and in front of others. I call him out immediately. I can't say I'm super abrasive about it, but he has stopped making comments in front of me. Number two, all of my contact with my sister is just to talk to her kids. Number three, he doesn't get to be alone around me, my female family members, or our kids. No more forced hugs. No touching, nada. All in all, it's been a long 9 years of their BS with no real end in sight. I would have to write a book to catalog it all, and I don't have the energy or time to give her anymore. I'm cordial to her and Jerry, and that's all that they will get from me. Let me know what you guys think. You guys might have experienced something like this. I won't say too much, but I will say that one of my sister's exes is quite literally the worst human on this earth. And I say that with many reasons, and if you knew, you would all agree. Like, should be put behind bars. And I hope he sees this because he knows that I absolutely can't stand him. And it's really hard. It's really hard when you have a sibling and you care. My sister was never the toxic one. Like, she never hurt us. But this man. And thank God he's an ex. Thank God he's an ex, but they were together for many years, and this is a very difficult situation to be in. Everyone out there in the world, let me know if you've been through something similar, what your advice would be, what you guys feel about this story, and stay classy out there, stay sassy, and I'll see you tomorrow.